Hey everybody, it's Odd Dustin. Welcome back into the mosh pit. And you know, POE really hits that gambling excitement that I enjoy. And it's not like gotcha games or loot box games, you know, where you're actually literally gambling when you're buying those things. No, it's more like there's this risk and reward that you get when you go to a casino. I don't know if anybody's been to a casino, but if you haven't, you walk right in and you hear everybody's ching, 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 and people screaming and yelling that they got some big score. And that's kind of like watching YouTube videos or watching somebody stream when they're playing really juiced up content where you're like, ooh, I want to do that. That sounds like fun. Ooh, look at that. Look at the thing. And there's when you're in a casino, there's a lot of risky and safe things to do with your money to try to have some fun while you're there. You know, you could play blackjack or craps or something, or poker, and you know the investment's fairly low. If you learn those games, you can be better at them and have a better at least ability to know how to avoid losing all your cash. And then there's super risky options like slot machines and roulette and Keno, where if you play those, you're at a higher risk of losing your cash. We also have some options there, you know, like with when I play slots, you know, I'm going in there and I'm looking for the lowest investment because I just want to have fun. I don't think I'm going to win a ton of money because I understand that the slots is about the riskiest way you can play. So I'm looking for like 50 cent, 75 cent slots for just a few hours of fun. And, you know, I'm not doing no dollar slots or maxing out all my bets and spending $5 a pull or some crazy shit. You know, I'm just looking to get a little bit of reward back so I can have some fun for a couple hours with my wife and then go home. And every now and then, though, you know, I feel like pushing it. Maybe I'm winning, you know, like, oh man, I think I'm going to push it a little bit. I'm going to do a couple of those $2 or $3 pulls or a $5 just to see, you know, maybe I'll hit it on that. And then I lose it and I go, oh, well, there was $5. Back to the 50 cent a pull. And POE has the same kind of thing for me. You know, it's like you can do safe things in Path of Exile and still have fun. You can do, you know, uncorrupted T16s and still have some fun. You can, you know, don't get crazy map modifiers. You can, do a regex and search for a very safe map to run. You know, no additional magic monsters. Pack size is lower. You don't do, you just do the league mechanics you want. You know, you're not juicing it up, and you can still get some rewards every now and then. You maybe will drop a divine or something fun. You know, Valdo might drop if you're doing that kind of activity, or maybe you're running some kind of league mechanic that drops something that people want and you can trade for it. But you can also go nuts where you're adding monster pack size to everything. You're adding extra wisps. Like I'm running a current strategy right now with Breach, where I'm running pack size up, extra breaches, wisps affecting everything. I'm also doing an astrolabe. Like I'm pushing it and adding beyond monsters as well. So my Atlas tree has some beyond monsters. I'm running only 8 mod corrupted T16s or T16.5s. You can also do nightmare maps if you want to go crazy. Luckily, this league I haven't really had to run a whole lot of nightmare maps to do anything yet. And I've really been enjoying it. And, you know, I get some huge drops sometimes where I can walk out of a map with 3-4 divines worth of gear or drops. And it's super exciting. You know, it's kind of like that same thing where I'm pushing the $5 pull to see if I'm going to win something big. And I find that from other games as well. Anything that is dropping a ton of loot where the loot might be something really special or might have some kind of really cool stuff, like Borderlands is another great example of a game that has a whole bunch of different types of loot that can drop. You know, a lot of times you're just going to get a bunch of garbage drops in that game where you're getting blues and greens and you're just like, what the hell is all this? But then every now and then you get this legendary that has some crazy mod on it and you're just like, whoa, what the hell? And it's the same thing with POE. You know, every now and then, you know, Valdos is going to drop, or you're going to have some kind of option like with this year, with the Mirage in this league here. You never know what you're going to get in there. And sometimes you get in there and you're like, oh man, this dropped, that dropped. I had, you know, these overlapping breaches so I could get all this extra experience as well. Because, you know, part of the gamble is dying in this game. You know, the gamble when you're at a casino is that you're losing your money. And money in this game, is fairly, some things are fairly expensive as well. Like you can have scarabs and astrolabes that cost you quite a bit. So that way, if you were pushing it and your risky behavior caused you to die, and you have, like for me, I had just recently, I was running breach. I died. I wasn't paying attention to my health or something happened and I died and it failed the breach. And so, if you miss a breach for that map, you don't get the full completion of the astrolabe to hopefully boost up the reward that you get when you go to the memory vault. And that's the gamble that I took. I pushed it a little too hard. I flew a little too close to the sun. I had maybe, missing elemental resist, or maybe the crit chance was higher on the map mods, or who knows what I pushed that killed me in that instant. But, insta dead, and now I've lost out on possibly some more loot, and I can go back in there and, you lose experience too in this game. Every time you die, you lose a little bit of your experience towards a level. And that's just another gamble that you're taking with all this pushing yourself to the limit. And I think that's kind of the fun of Path of Exile, is that you can see how far can I get this build, and then you kind of take it all the way up to just getting burned and then maybe back it off just a little bit. So like after that death, I said, maybe some of these map mods are a little nuts and I can take off some things. And there was a few things in there that were reducing my map pool was higher, but my death chances were higher as well. So I went in, changed my regex around, made it so that I had a little bit more elemental resists and a lot less vulnerability popping up. And, it takes me a longer time to purchase the maps that I want because I'm looking for a safer map pool. But, take a little bit of extra time to be a little bit safer and then go back in and still get quite a bit of good rewards. So let me know in the comments below how you feel about the gambling part of this discussion. Like, do you feel like Path of Exile has that same kind of hit that you would get when you go to a casino, or am I way off base here and I just need to get good? Let me know, and if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Like the video if you can, and subscribe if you're not subscribed for more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one.
My mana is gone.